Okay, well, I think we're ready to get started. It's 6:30. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Arapahoe Library's Parenting Strategies program. I'm Betsy Brainerd, Supervisor of Early Literacy for the Arapahoe Libraries, and I am joined by some of my colleagues on the Child and Family Library Services team, Early Literacy Librarians Molly and Lauren. The Arapahoe Libraries has dedicated staff and space for family place programming. This means that we offer a broad range of support to families with young children through interactive play spaces, parent-child workshops, special parenting materials, and trained staff. We also try to connect our parents and caregivers with information they can use as they engage in the hard work of child rearing. And that's what this Parenting Strategies series is all about. If you'd like the opportunity to speak with an early childhood specialist in person, you can bring your 1 to 3-year-old to one of our Family Place Play and Learn workshops, which are generally running on Fridays at 10 o'clock at one of our locations. So check out our website, arapahoelibraries.org, and go to the 0 to 5 page. This evening, we're pleased to welcome Jennifer Gravlee to speak on the topic of money matters, because even young children can start to appreciate the difference between need and want. Jennifer is a teacher with over 15 years experience at Aspen Academy and a leadership coach for future holders. She's dedicated to helping children develop leadership skills that will impact both their own lives as well as the global community. If you have procedural or technical questions that need to be answered right away, please put them in the chat box and either Molly or Lauren will help you out right away. If you have a question that you would like Jennifer to answer, please use the Q&A box for that. And I think that's it for now. Over to you, Jennifer.
All right. Thank you so much, Betsy. I'm so thankful to be here and excited to present all of this information with you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can work through the slides here. All right. So as Betsy said, my name is Jennifer Gravlee. I'm the Leadership and Entrepreneurship Director at Aspen Academy in Greenwood Village. I graduated from the University of Memphis with a degree in SPED and regular ed in grades K through 6. I taught in Tennessee and Alabama before relocating to Colorado in 2016, in which I spent 4 years in the classroom here at Aspen, and then this is my 3rd year in this leadership role. I oversee our finance, entrepreneurship, and leadership curriculum, as well as all of our student leadership programs that we have at school, student-run businesses, student entrepreneurial expo, service learning, and mentor programs. So what is the problem here? What are we seeing? We're noticing that critical life skills such as financial literacy are not actually being mastered in school, whereas we think those are skills that are coming along in the everyday curriculum. And we think back to maybe when we were in school, financial literacy normally actually didn't come up till around high school, right? And even then, it may have been a class that was an opportunity to take, but not necessarily required. But we're noticing that these are skills that we need to be tackling starting at a very young age. But we know sometimes money can be a big talk, and it seems like that's a large area for a small child, when in fact, actually, you can start with some skills and develop those as they get older. And so tonight, we're going to kind of be discussing some different things that you all can do at home to foster their learning and financial literacy. Just some statistics here. We see that 2/3 of adults can't pass a basic test of financial literacy, but that's also because only around 20% of them have participated in any formal financial education of any kind. So therefore, that result makes complete sense. We're also seeing that the average debt of young adults in their 20s is around 30,000, and the vast majority of it actually is not student loans. It goes to car payments and credit card debts. So it's just kind of trying to get ahead of those things and teach them how to budget and how to balance and how the money system and economy works at a young age. We can see some other kind of statistics here if you all wanted to read over those. All righty, so the goal for tonight is to explain how important it is to start early, to begin exposing your children to personal finance at an early age, and then continue to involve them in all things money. And we're going to cover a wide variety of topics tonight. We're going to discuss what a mini economy is, and needs and wants, income and savings, jobs, goods and services, and opportunity cost. The mini economy is kind of like the foundation house here. It's something that you can put in place if you choose to in your home, and then these topics will all kind of fall into place there. So I'm going to give you a plethora of information tonight, and I want you to take it and adapt it to what works for you and your family, right? You might see things on here and be like, whoa, that's a lot for us. I don't think that's going to quite work. Or maybe you walk away with some books that are great, or just the inspiration to understand how important it is to involve the children and just having conversations around money every day. All right, so what is a mini economy exactly? So a mini economy is a simulation where students, children can learn real world experiences on how a market works. Usually when we research mini economy, they are mostly seen as how to set one up in a classroom, which is great, but that doesn't mean it has to be just for the classroom. This is definitely something that can be done at home as well. You'll some pictures here is of it being used in a classroom, most definitely, but these are all things you can still do in your house as well. It's just kind of adapting to that. So, we think back when I was younger, maybe you kind of knew you had a chore chart or a sticker chart where you did your roles. You made the bed, you took out the trash, whatever it may be, and you put a sticker on there, and then you received money for that, maybe how some experienced it. That's definitely a fabulous thing, but the kind of mini economy at home is like the new way of saying chore chart. You can make this system as big as you want to make it, or however it works for you. But I just kind of want to give you some ideas of what you can do. So you can have assigned leadership roles at home, jobs, but we like to say leadership roles. And you can even go an extra step farther and have them apply for different roles in the home weekly or monthly, and different roles can pay different amounts there. And the big piece of this is for them to kind of start to understand that different people in our community and in our world are going to have different jobs, and those jobs are going to all pay different amounts. And when they do a job, they get paid for it, right? That's kind of the big picture that comes out of that. And if you wanted to go in and say, hey, you apply for job, however often you want to do that, or you have several children and they want to apply for jobs, they can then kind of understand that concept that that's one way people earn jobs, as they start with an application. Have a payday established at home and have it on the calendar for them to see. So you can say, hey, we get paid once a month, once a week. Once a week may be a little bit easier for them because a month seems really far away when you're young, right? So you say every Friday it's on the calendar. Yay, today is payday. We look at our chart where we tracked it. and we get paid. Now, something I really want to encourage is that you do give them physical money here. Like this can be simulated with fake money for sure, just to kind of give the lesson. But this is a great time to actually pay them so they can save up and then count the money together. So there's those math skills, and you'll see some examples here in a moment. But we sit down and we say, okay, we made this much money this week. This is awesome. We're going to count it. We're going to look at it together, and then we're going to put it in our piggy bank or money jar, whatever you choose to do there. However, they save their money up. It's very important to meet your child where they are at. Start small with change so they can help count it. Like we understand that making 5 pennies a week or something is not some huge money that we can do a lot with in the world. But then again, if their math skills are not where they can count, dollar bills yet or things like that, we want it to be where they can understand that they can physically count the money. So meet them where they are. Have a designated bank where they can physically keep their earnings so they see it growing. You can have so much fun with that, right? You can just let them go pick out a piggy bank. This can be a jar that they get to decorate and they keep in a certain spot, right? Things like that. And then we have what we call like a market where they get to spend their money and they get to shop. Now, I'm going to recommend here that because the money is probably not piling up too quick unless they're making great money, that we want to stick to the things like Dollar Tree or Walmart, places where they can actually spend money. Or another way you can just kind of go the extra step is to have a market at home with items that maybe you've collected. These can be tangible or non-tangible items. I think it's real quick to think of little trinkets and stuff like that they want, which is fabulous. But there's also maybe it's extra TV time or something else that they kind of like and can go with there. This is also a good time to discuss delayed gratification, because when they see something that they really, really want, but yet they can't really afford it next to like something else they can afford, they kind of have to make that decision, right? And that's where you can kind of help them with that. Do I spend my money right now and get this? Or if I don't spend my money now and I save up for it, then later I can get this. So that's where they have to make that choice. And we'll go into that topic in a little bit more detail when we get to the savings and income part. So the mini economy is going to kind of be the reference and building block to some of the other lessons and topics that I'm going to refer to tonight. And like I said, you may say this is too much. I don't want to do a mini economy at home. No problem. I'm still going to give you plenty of other tools of things that you can do to hit those other topics hard. But also, if you do have the mini economy set up, some things will kind of naturally come. I'm going to see. And if we have any questions while we're on this topic, feel free. So we have what I'm going to kind of show you here is just like an overview from a kindergarten classroom, because I was trying to keep it a little bit younger considering the audience that we may have here. And then you can see here. Sorry, oh, didn't mean to do that. There we go. So you can kind of see this here as an example of like a kindergarten store. Like I said, this is in a classroom, but can be adopted to the home. So they have things such as show and tell, right? The teacher didn't have to pay for anything there. Special seating, get to wear a hat, but they kind of have this up so they know these are the things that they can purchase with their money. This one here, the donate to the class, is always kind of a fun one. This may be something that if you have several children and maybe they want to get something together, like this one usually falls under the class pet window. So they can kind of say, hey, we're all going to save up a class fish or whatever costs this much. We can all kind of put our money in together and save up. So that may be something that they choose to do as well. Let me go. There we go. So Students, if you want to even go the extra step, your child can pay rent, right? You can make this as big as you want for them just to understand that's kind of how the real world works and things like that. Pinterest is a wonderful tool that you can go on just to say, I'm trying to, brainstorm some ideas. You can simply type in mini economy and get a plethora of other ideas that might work as well for you and your house. But there's so many things that you can do. Okay, so that's a great question. So the thoughts of earned allowance is the question here, is the thoughts of earned allowance versus they just get a certain amount of money each week. And I kind of speak to that a little bit later. So there's also a few things here. There's that idea of they shouldn't be earning money for things that they should be doing to contribute to the house. Like that might be, there's kind of that there. Oh, well, they should be helping pick up. That's part of their role in the family versus, just getting paid for doing what they're supposed to do. So you that's actually totally up to you. I love the idea of they earn the money and they get paid for a certain amount, because here's the thing, we want to make sure that they're actually doing the job to get the money, which I know can be a little bit more of a management part on your piece. But there's that lesson to learn there, is if I just know, oh, here's your $5 every week, right? Then they're not understanding, well, I didn't really have to do anything, or I didn't do half the stuff and I still got the $5. And we know that that's not exactly how the real world works. So I personally am a huge fan of they actually earn it for doing their roles, and they understand I didn't do it, therefore I don't get paid. Therefore, that pushed back my chance of getting that item that I was saving up for. Thank you for that question. Awesome. Do we have any other mini economy ones before we move on to the next topic? If you think of it later, feel free to throw it in the Q&A, or you can always reach out to me. Awesome. All right. Okay. So we've all heard the saying that money doesn't grow on trees. That's kind of the thing, though. Research has actually shown that a child does not truly understand the difference between wants and needs when they are very young. They've had very few experiences at this point in life, right? From their viewpoint, they have the house, they have the food on the table, the shampoo, the toothpaste, all of that just kind of shows up, right? Without questioning where it came from or understanding, just because you want something really bad, like you really crave it, doesn't mean that poof, it's just going to be there. So this concept that we all know, hey, money doesn't grow on trees, is actually something that they need to be taught and understand. That's why we want to start at a young age and show them how the money system works and how they can use it and how they can budget it. We don't need to wait until they get out into, the workforce, or they get a little bit older and they're like, oh, wow, that's how that works, right? These are things we can start showing them now. Okay. Needs and wants is the first kind of topic, and that's what I was saying there. Believe it or not, I know it sounds simple to us, like we clearly know difference between wants and needs, but children actually, research shows, do not until they are kind of shown that and taught that. So why not start that now? Use the vocabulary with them. So that's some of the things that I'm going to mention tonight, is around us as we're models using the correct vocabulary with them. Because I can so quickly, even as an adult, say, oh, I really need a new pair of sunglasses, while I have two sitting on the table, two perfectly good pairs, right? I don't need another pair of sunglasses, but I want that. And so it's just kind of modeling that correct behavior when you are around them, and that correct vocabulary. Like, I really want this, but I know I'm going to need to save up for it. Like, use that, talk to them about that, share those experiences with them along with the needs. We really need to replace this item in our house that broke. Therefore, a want's going to have to kind of be pushed back. Picture books, this is a library talk, so this is perfect. Picture books are a great way to introduce and help them understand all concepts really, but this concept. We do have, I believe at the end, they were putting out a book list there of some books that you can use, and I'll probably make some reference to some as well. Reading books together is so incredibly important, as we already know, for so many other reasons. But even going past that, just reading a book together, ask questions to spark their curiosity and their interest on the topic, right? When you get done with that, ask them why this happened, or what did this child learn from this, or why did they need to save up the money, or what were they, frustrated about that they didn't get, just to kind of get that conversation going, and then relate that to with you, like in real life, like where is that happening in their life? How is your life like so and so in the character? Do you remember that toy you really wanted? Things like that. Use pictures of items as flashcards, right? You can hold things up. It's as simple as, is this a want or is this a need? Why do you think this is a want versus a need? Because I think you might be a little surprised at some of the things they may see as a want, or they may see as a need, when in fact actually could be the opposite. So that's just another great opportunity there. You can do it with just like pointing things out. You can make some flashcards, be as creative as you want to be right there. You can find, flashcards online, I'm sure already made if that's easier for you. Maybe it's a coloring sheet. Maybe your kiddo really loves art and they really connect with art and that's how they learn best. Then maybe it's a coloring sheet where they color wants in blue or needs in green. And then you can just, like I said, have a follow-up conversation with that afterwards. Why do you think this is a want? Do you think maybe this could possibly be a need? Use that vocabulary, refer to these terms when you're purchasing items together, or you're grocery shopping. And I'm going to kind of go back to the shopping piece a few times during this presentation as well. But, tell them, hey, the heater went out. This happened. We need to repair this month. So we're not going to be able to eat out, right? Going out to eat is great. It's fun, but we know we can save money if we eat at home, and we needed to repair the heater this month because it broke. So we're going to have to give up something else, a want, like eating out, right? Versus just, nope, we're not going out to eat right now. Explain to them the difference there between meeting the needs, and sometimes that means, a lot of times that means we have to give up a want. Okay, there. Needs and wants resources. There are videos online that are little cartoons, and one I can kind of speak to is Charlie and Lola. I really, really need ice skates, and that's just a cute little cartoon video where she really, really thinks she needs ice skates, and then she ends up getting the ice skates without lessons. She gives up a scooter to get the
We can't hear you, Betsy.
I think we've lost her.
Sorry about that. We will try to get her back really
Yes.
quickly.
Hold on. I don't know what happened, but I will just be 1 second trying to get a hold of her. I couldn't see the other participants either.
In the meantime, you can take this opportunity. I linked the book list of picture books that Jennifer talked about. I linked that in the chat. You can check those out. You'll be able to put them on hold directly from our website. And if our library system doesn't currently own those, we can request those through the Prospector system and get them from another library.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Sorry, I was like, wait a minute, where are they at? It just went. I have no, I totally
That was very
apologize for that.
strange.
It was all of a sudden I'm talking away and the Zoom starts saying connecting, and I was like, wait a minute. So I have no idea. I'm so sorry about that. I guess
Well,
that's the,
thank you. Yes, thank you for sticking with us, everyone.
yes, I do apologize. Joys of technology there, right? Okay, let's try this again. Okay, back at it there. All right, so once again, kind of talking about some videos there that you can find. Picture books together. Those shoes I know is on the book list there. And, you know, the thing is, we maybe want to just look up books that have the word needs or wants or whatever topic you're working on in the title, when in fact, like, you might not think Those Shoes has this great lesson about needs and wants, but it absolutely does. It's if you haven't read it, it's a great book, but about a boy who wants so badly a pair of new shoes like his classmates have, and his grandma keeps saying, we don't have room for wants, just needs right now. And I won't give the rest of the story away, but that's just kind of an example of, don't necessarily just try to search for books that have these topics in the title. There are plenty of them there, and hopefully that book list will be helpful for you as well. Another great resource that you can use if you're just looking for some activities that require little planning on your part, right? Just something a little extra that they can do at home. Teacher Pay Teacher is a wonderful website that you can do as well. And you don't have to be a teacher, obviously, to buy on there, but they have already made things for you that you can purchase for cheap. You can also find things on there for free, but you can simply go straight to it, put in the age of the child, the topic, and you're going to have plenty of things there. And like I said, that might just be the route that works for you. Oh, my kiddo loves to do cut and paste. I see those on there. Doesn't require a lot of planning on my part. That's something we can do together. That's just one option that may work best for you. Or, you know, have fun, create something together. Let's make a poster where we draw like our needs, and then we draw some of our wants that we're working towards, or whatever it may be. Just once again, reiterating, you using the vocabulary correctly. I'm just as guilty for that. Like, I have to catch myself sometimes. Oh, I don't actually need that. I want that. And just trying to be mindful of how we're using that vocabulary. And I believe they're going to be putting this slideshow out there. This is just this was a great article. The more that we can educate ourselves, the more we're going to be able to help our children, right? Stay on top of things, research, read articles, find books, anything that might give you some other great ideas or great ways. We're always growing and learning. And the more that we know, the more we're going to be able to share with our children as well. And just, you know, just showing up to things like this is absolutely amazing and shows that you're passionate and care about this work. So there are just so many things that you continue to do. I just love to read different articles, look up different things. What are the studies showing? You know, oh, I didn't think about looking at it that way. That explains this.
Jennifer, real quick,
yeah,
could you tell us the name of the article?
Yep, let me just go ahead and just click on, just go ahead right there. There we go. And like I said, if we want to like share this slideshow out, I figure they click straight to it afterwards as well. So it just kind of goes through around, you know, talks about they're unable to recognize when something is a need opposed to a want. And this is just one article that, you know, I found very interesting, but I'm constantly kind of doing research, and I'll kind of show you some other websites as well that will share some different things that you might be interested in. Awesome. Okay. Having them spend their money on special treats. Okay, so when you're at the grocery store, have them help with the grocery list and shopping. I put in the kind of parentheses, think dino nuggets, right? Everybody at school has the dino shaped nuggets, or like when we were kids, it was the Flintstone vitamins, right? Well, maybe I can get these nuggets over here for, you know, X amount cheaper versus these dino nuggets, right? And it's having that conversation with them and showing them and helping them do this with you. A lot of times, and so many times you might see in the grocery store, it's so easy to either not take them with you or hand them a cell phone or a tablet, and you're just going through and you're just throwing stuff in the shopping cart, right? And they just know, like, poof, the food appeared and we, went to the grocery store. But it's actually having them plan that with you to look at this stuff, coupons, all of these things we're going to kind of discuss is involving them in that. Does it make sense? And it's like, oh, I really, really, really want these dino nuggets versus these. Okay, well then how about you save up your money for, those if you want that special treat or you want that certain thing off the shelf, right? But for the budget right now, that makes sense for us to purchase this item. So it's just having those conversations with them and letting them help kind of make decisions and physically see that as well. Okay, income and savings. Are we good to move on off of needs and wants? I just want to make sure I don't miss anyone's questions here. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Income and savings. So once again, it's teaching them the vocabulary. Income's the money that you earn through work. So the money that you are going to get paid for doing your job or your leadership role here. And then savings the money that you put away instead of spending it right away. Once again, we can go back to picture books, introduce the topic, and ask questions. But relate to them. What is something they really want from your shopping days when they get to spend their money and they just can't afford it right now? So helping them create that budget, working with them to do the math and see how much they will need to save from their income and then how long it will take to get it. You can create just a simple budget sheet together on whatever works for you. There's so many options. It can be as simple as writing it down. It can be a coloring sheet, which I'll kind of go to those things here in a moment as well. But it's helping them sit down. Okay, we know that this item that you really want cost $5. You have this much in your piggy bank. If you do your job, this is how much money you're going to earn. Let's look and see how much of it we're going to save. And then you can kind of refer back to that when they know, like, oh, they've got to save up for a few weeks or whatever it may be. And then we get out and they see something else and it's like, oh, I really want that. I can spend my own money on it. Okay, well, if you spend your own money on it, remember, you're pushing back your chances of getting the previous item that we mentioned. But that's up to them, right? That's that choice that they kind of have to make there. It's a great time to really focus on the bank, and it's so important for them, like I said, to see the money being counted and saved. And as they get older, there are some items I'll show you here in a little bit as well, where they can actually kind of do online banking simulation as they get a little bit older and they're ready for that. Okay, so create a budget sheet. Like I said, this can be, so it can be something as simple as they're just writing down the date, the deposit amount that they got, how much they took out, and what their balance is. It can be something like that. It might be something with that they color in, that they keep, whatever works for you in your home. It's just making sure, the big picture is there, that they can physically see the money go in after they've earned it, count the money, see the money physically go away as they purchase their items is the big sheet here. Have a designated way that they get paid, have it where where it's tracked. You can decorate the money jar, the piggy bank together, help them with the budget, following the budget. This is something, like I said, they're learning, and it's just kind of working with them through that. Are we good on incomes and savings? Any questions there? Happy to pause at any time and answer any of your questions.
So far, so good.
Okay, all right, just want to make sure. Okay, jobs, goods, and services, or the other thing, another big topic that they kind of need to understand, that that's how we earn money, that's how we keep the economy going. So these you can always kind of be on like a hunt and a look for when you're out in the community and you're running errands. have them notice and point out different jobs, right? These are great car conversations, or when you're out shopping or you're doing this. Are they providing a good, or are they providing a service? So they can see that those are two separate things that also can bring in money and help keep our economy and community going. Go over family roles at home and discuss if they provide a good or a service. It could be, the adults that live in the house. What is their job? How do they earn money? What do they do with that? Is it a good or a service? And then have them brainstorm and draw a picture of a job they may want in the future. What good do they think they may provide, or what service do they think that they may provide? Just trying to get the wheels turning and help them understand that there are so many different ways of contributing to the economy while also earning money.
Jennifer, do you see that there is a
I
question?
do, right there. Yes. With the simulated bank, would you introduce paying them interest? Yes, later as they get a little bit older, yes, most definitely. From a classroom perspective, the online banking part begins in around 3rd, 4th grade for our students, and they do definitely. We have the earning interest once again when they're ready for that, most definitely, for sure. So yeah, I love that, and it's fun. We had one case where just to help them kind of see a lesson, they went in and they got on their online banking, and several of them had like a 0 balance, and they're like, what? And so they kind of went into the topic of fraud and how things like that can happen, right? But it was just this great lesson. But when you get onto the online banking, yes, I highly recommend the interest piece and all of those things that are real world when they're ready for it. But here's the thing: when you start at a young age at your house with something as simple as counting pennies and working and earning, you're going to easily be able to work your way up to those, which is awesome. They get to see that step versus we never talk about money. They turn, 16 years old or whatever it may be, and you say, hey, to get a car, you need to get a job. And then suddenly all of that is very new to them. So starting young and just building your way up to that is going to make a huge difference. Thank you for the question. Once again, like I said, make an effort to point these out when you're just having this conversation, just little things like that. When you're running errands, talk about different jobs we see in the community. When we were at that store, what roles did you notice? What role do you think that person played? Oh, you noticed that they may have been, their tag said manager. What's the difference between the manager and the other employees? What do you think that means for a company? Or, we went and got our hair cut. Let's kind of talk about, is that a good or is that a service? How do we think that they earn their money? Do they get to keep all the money we just paid them for a haircut? Or do you think maybe the person who owns the business, do they kind of rent a booth there? All of these things, kids are naturally curious. It's one of my favorite things about them. And these are easy conversations to have with little kiddos. It's the why. The why is important. The kids that say, why this? How does that work? How this? It's awesome opportunities to have conversations with kids about this stuff. So once again, what did they think they might like to do versus what do you want to be when you grow up? More so, what do you think your job's going to be to earn an income? You think you're going to invent something? Awesome. You think that you're going to, work in a service for animals? That's what I'm passionate about, whatever it may be, right? And then dig a little bit deeper past, I just want to be a firefighter or whatever it may be. What do you think that means? Talk about why we receive a paycheck each time we get paid. What happens if we don't work? Like we have a lower chance of receiving a paycheck, of receiving any money if we're not doing a job. So what do we think that means? One of the picture books I kind of talk about there is just Bear About Town. It's a very simple book that literally is just about a bear kind of going through town, but he's just pointing out there's a fire station, there's the grocery store, there's a town hall, things like that. And that's just stuff you can do and kind of make them aware. Like, are we still looking at the window and pointing out these businesses and seeing all these amazing jobs that provide all these different things that keep us going? Okay, good there. Awesome. All right. Opportunity cost. So opportunity cost is the loss of one thing they may want to gain something else. Opportunity cost is it's still a hard one even for some adults, right? Because that's not fun. You know, I want both. I don't want to have to make a choice there. One thing that you can do if you're looking for just like a little simulation at home on this particular topic is you can kind of set something up. You can even have a little play cash register. Or you can just have some fake money and have some visuals of something your child really likes. And then assign prices to those, but make it to where they can't get both. They're going to have to give up one to get the other. So they can kind of understand that. And like I said, if you're looking for a simulation at home to kind of better understand that lesson, of course, you can do that when they're really shopping and talking about something they truthfully do want and what they need to save up their money for, and how they're going to have to give up other things now if they want this big thing, right? You can also refer to this when you're even talking about time, right? When you kind of have to decide, doesn't even have to be in a money thing, like opportunity cost is you might be giving up time to do this to have more time to do this, right? That's a whole other option there that may not speak straight to money, but just understanding the concept of opportunity cost, which that's a tough one, right? Because that's not fun. We want both, you know, but it's a huge lesson. Having them save up for something that they really want, which means not buying something else they may also want. Just making sure that is an opportunity in their life, that they're not, if they're constantly able to always be able to purchase everything they want, then they're not going to quite understand this concept. Give them choices for snacks or lunch products at the grocery store, but they can't purchase both, right? You're shopping, they take their lunch to school. Okay, we need to decide, do you want these fruit snacks or do you want these cookies? Oh, well, I want both, right? But we kind of need to decide which one, deciding one or the other that you're going to get. We have kiddos, I know at work sometimes, and they'll get out of the car in the mornings. It won't even be Friday, it'll be Thursday, and I'll say good morning, and they'll say, tomorrow I get the snack at school, you know, and I always get tickled, but they know that they've kind of set that up in their house that Fridays, right, they can't purchase an extra snack or a snack at all at school Monday through Thursday, but Fridays are set aside for that. We have students that means if they really want that snack, they actually spend their own money, right? They might say, oh, can I have a brownie today at school? Well, how much does a brownie cost? Do you want to go get that money out of your piggy bank and spend that? You know, things like that, just having them understand that everything's not just going to come to us. We talked about the associating it with time. You can play with a friend for 20 minutes or you can watch TV for 20 minutes, but we can't do both. And that once again just goes back to learning the concept of opportunity cost there. That's just another way you might be able to relate that to them. Have them tell you pros and cons when making a decision. So you can help them with understanding how to make a choice, right? Making decisions is tough. And once again, those are skills that need to be learned. So you can kind of say, hey, why don't you tell me all the great things about getting this versus, you know, the negative when you're comparing two things. And I'll kind of help you understand and ask them questions to hopefully help you decide, is it worth giving up this thing to have this, and that I need to make a decision. Do not provide a bailout if they are not pleased with what they bought. I can't really say that enough because there's a huge lesson to be learned from that right there. And if we bail them out, they purchase something, they decide, oh, that really wasn't what I wanted. Okay, well, this one time I'm going to go get you this other thing, right? That's going to kind of delay the whole concept. I don't know if any of you watched the show Friends before, but there is an episode where Monica really wanted these certain boots that were extremely expensive. And she gets the boots, and Chandler's like, we have got to take these back. This is more than our rent, you know. And she's like, no, 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 these are wonderful. I need these. I'm going to show you that it was well worth the money. And what happens is they go, you know, go out one time when she's wearing them, and her feet are just, you know, in so much pain, you know, because come to find out the boots weren't all that she thought they would be. So that's just kind of an thing there with not belling them out. So they're going to have times where they purchased something and it didn't end up being all that they thought it would be, and they wished that they had gotten the other thing. But it's like, oh, bummer, you know, we can learn from that. Now we know, and now you can kind of save up for that other item as well. Which, once again, these are all lessons that we have to remind ourselves of as adults, you know. Okay, we're good on the questions there. Okay. So I think there's kind of a history there when it comes to talking about money, that sometimes we think that has to be a very private thing, which, yes, we don't, you know, go around saying, oh, I make this much money, I spend that. But it is appropriate to include your children in the budget and the spending experiences, and a lot more opportunities than maybe we notice, right? I know I've referred to the grocery shopping a lot, but that's one of the things that, like, don't give them the phone to entertain them while you shop. Introduce them to coupons. Let them help pick out the coupons. I know, like King Supers, it might not be where you shop, but they have like the blue tags, right? Teach them that, show them that. Oh, mom, you know, or dad or grandpa, hey, there's a blue tag. That means we need to get 5 items with a blue tag in order to save this much money, right? You know, include them in that, show them that, show them, hey, I need, you know, I'm going to get this. This is a blue tag right here. Or, you know, point things out. Here's this shampoo. And you'll start to recognize they're very observant. Children are extremely observant. They're probably going to be able to tell you quickly, oh, but that one over there is, you know, 50 cents cheaper. The more that you do that and practice that with them, the more they're going to be involved, and they're going to notice these things. Holiday shopping, when it comes time for that, having real conversations about your finances when creating your family budget, shopping, you know, when you're paying taxes. No, is it going to be easy to sit down and explain to a 5-year-old exactly how taxes work? No, but you can still help them understand, this is what we're doing. You know, we're going to sit down and pay our taxes because that's part of things we have to do. And as they get older, yeah, most definitely is a great time to start explaining to them what taxes are so they can see that. Set money goals together when it's appropriate. Discuss and plan raising money for a charity. Listen to their ideas. You know, as part of our budget in our family, we are going to donate X amount of money to a charity every month. What do you think would be a good charity to donate to? You know, and then you'll see a lot of times children will start wanting to spend their own money to donate to charities. Just keep visuals, calendars. It's so important for children as they're learning to visually see things, to see, I have this many days until it's payday. Okay, maybe we're going on a certain family vacation. Think kind of like an advent calendar. Is it a way we're all going to Disney World? We know we need to save up this amount of money. Keep that on there for them. We put this much money into savings this month or this week, right? We're getting closer to it. And it could just be something where they kind of color a chart in. We're saving up versus boom, where they're just on the vacation, you know? Take them to the bank with you to open a savings account together for their future when that's time. You know, you get very fortunate and you do get older, and it's like, okay, here's the access to your bank account. We've been putting money in that for you since you were little. Great, but just take them into the bank to begin with. Let them know this is what we're starting for you. This is the importance of it, so they know they have that. Just taking every opportunity that presents itself. It's really just what I hope, if nothing else, after this presentation, you will now begin to be more aware of, like, oh, I could have this conversation here, or I could show them this. in this case, any and every opportunity that you see comes up, oh, great, let's introduce that. Let's talk about that. I think it's that remembering that they're still young and they're still learning, and things that we just kind of automatically know, such as we know this is a need versus a want, they need to be exposed to that. So really it's exposing them in any way possible to all things money. There. Okay. So the other piece that I kind of want to get into, as I said earlier, I oversee our leadership and entrepreneurial programs at school. We are a leadership and entrepreneurship school. So this is also a huge experience for them, taking them to small businesses, pointing out big corporations versus local small businesses. We are going to keep all of our holiday shopping local. Let me explain to you why we think that's important, or things we can do. Let's go into this shop here and understand this person, hear their stories, right? Usually entrepreneurs love to share their stories and how they got to where they were. We do that with our students at work. We have our eighth graders have different cohorts, and one is like a cafe, so they sell donuts and coffee, and the donut shop is across the street from the school. So we take the kids over there, they meet the owners of the business and explain how they got to where they're at, so the kids can kind of just see different entrepreneurs in our local community. Let's start a business. Let them start a business together. You can give them a budget if you want, that's kind of considered a loan, and they create a product and they run the business to earn money. Think lemonade stand, but bigger. This is a great way for them. Yes, they do jobs at home and they earn money, great, but this is another way to where and kids thrive in this area 100%, and their creativity will absolutely amaze you when you give them the opportunity to do that. Expose them to kid entrepreneurs. There are some phenomenal ones out there. I kind of mentioned here with Zolly Candy, and like I said, we have these links, and this was a young lady that I want to say she was around 7 or so. She wanted a lollipop. Her dad explains, no, they rot your teeth out. So in kid fashion, she says, well, why can't we just create a lollipop that's not bad for your teeth? It's actually helpful for your teeth, right? And so they do. With the help of her family, our dad, they began to experiment and try different things. And lo and behold, they get Zolly Pops at the time, which ends up being huge. And by the time she's in high school, she's running this huge company, and now it's actually Zolly Candy. Explaining to them, having those conversations. Maybe we see Zolly Pops at the store and we explain how we got there. Jack Stands, that's actually a kiddo from Denver, Colorado, that went on the actual real Shark Tank, that kind of started out as more like a lemonade stand, and it just turned into a stand of several things at this point. And you may see him set up at local farmers markets and different things like that. Moe's Bows is another good one that creates bow ties. So these are just a few that you can kind of look into, but you can always just do research on that. If you want anything like that, you see anything on here and you're like, I'd really love to know more about that, please reach out to me, because I'd love to have these conversations. Let's say they come up with a business, let them pitch their business idea to the family, kind of like a Shark Tank pitch, right? We just have some different pictures down here from some past ones that we have seen kiddos do. You see the goats here, that's a service. She had goats, and so she was using them as therapy goats, where you could come and you could, pay, and they sit in your lap, they calm you down, almost like therapy dogs, right? So we can kind of say that's a service she's providing. It can be as simple as we made bookmarks, different things like that. So just kind of exposing them to what it means to be an entrepreneur. We know, or I know, not everyone is going to be an entrepreneur in life, but the thing is, it's about thinking like one. It's those skills of understanding the financial literacy piece, the problem solving skills, the having a vision and a mission, right? These are all skills that everyone can benefit from, no matter what they choose to do that brings in income. Okay. And this is, like I said, just a great way for them to earn some money that's different from just doing a job at home. And it's fun. And the skills they're going to gain from creating the business are far more than I could even list right now. Okay. Once again, asking kids questions to ask them to engage them in money. Like I mentioned before, kids are naturally curious. They love to talk. They love to say why. Just kind of having those conversations. Simple questions like, how do people choose what they are going to spend their money on? Do they need to take care of their needs and then they go on to their wants? How do you think they decide what to do on their wants? How do you think they made those decisions? How do you make those decisions? How can we plan for spending? How can we have a budget to make sure our needs come before our wants? What do you think is going to happen if I do buy my wants before my needs? What is something you really want to save up for? It might be something that takes a really long time, right? Um, how can we save money when shopping? When we're going out shopping, how can we save money? What do you think I could do at the store to save this? What is something you think you could create and earn money? What do you think there's a way that you can do? I know you really want this toy that costs this much and you're looking at your budget and just doing your jobs at home. It may take a while. Do you have any ideas or anything else maybe you could do to earn money? Um, why is it important to put our needs before our wants? Why do you think we need to do that? What's a charity you think we should donate to? What is money? I know that's like a huge one, but we live in this world now where a lot of kiddos are mainly only exposed to somebody pulling out a credit card or a plastic card out of their wallet. It's having that conversation around. There's not just endless. I don't just swipe this tiny piece of plastic and there's just endless money. What are the different forms of payments? What is a credit card versus a debit card versus cash? What are all these different forms of money? Why is having a job important? Why do you think that's important? And why do you think that that's something that we need to do? How does that benefit you? How does that benefit your community, the economy, the world? Think big picture there. So just asking questions to get the wheels turning and then build from that as they answer. Children are incredibly intuitive when we ask the questions and listen to them. I always say we can learn just as much from them as they learn from us. All right. Modeling the behavior. So that's the huge piece there. There used to be that maybe do as I say, not as I do. Not a thing. That's not, it should not be that is all. Not when we're trying to raise leaders and financially literate children. Okay. They watch every move that we make and they see that our modeling is at the core of developing the qualities that we want children to have. So it's just kind of, like I said, modeling the behavior. They see you sitting down doing a budget. They may not be involved with it, but hey, we're going to sit down and we're going to do our budget. We do this every month, right? Or when you're out and you have to make a decision, or maybe you really want something yourself, just saying out loud, telling them, you know what, I'm saving up for this new pair of running shoes or whatever it may be. Telling them that's what you're doing, modeling that behavior for them so they see that that's something that continues through life. It's not that, oh, we're adults, so poof, everything just kind of like happens and it's there, that we're following all of the same things that they are as well. So just kind of being mindful of that. There's some resources on here. So we kind of talked about the online banking that you can do there with the My Kids Bank is one option. We can click on that there. We have, and like I said, this is going to be when they get a little bit older, but it's really cool that these tools are out there for us. Bankaroo, it's a virtual bank for kids there, teach them about the value of money and things like that. But once again, we want to kind of make sure your child is ready for that there. We talked about the bank ledger, you know, just having a way that they physically see and they count and they have that visible. So just a simple budget. I brought in this much money. I'm saving this much. I'm, you know, use this much. This is where my balance is right now. Oh my goodness. Grandma and grandpa, aunt and uncle, whoever gave me this amount of money for my birthday. I'm going to add that. Now look, I'm going to go change that on my budget sheet. This is a bonus. Now I'm this much closer to getting that want, you know, things like that. So we have this life skills here. Now I want to be mindful that I have not actually taken any of these classes. I know about this tool, but I just trying to show you the plethora of things that are out there that you can do that has certain topics that may be appropriate, has the age on there. Like I said, have not taken any of these classes personally myself. This resource has been brought to my attention. So I just kind of wanted to let you know, it's just more that I want to show you all. There's a lot out there that financial literacy is a huge topic, thankfully, and that we are making a way to understanding how important this is for kiddos. So more and more resources and tools are becoming available.
Jennifer, I just
Yeah.
wanted to note that we're running up against the end of the hour, and
got
some
it.
people may
Sorry.
be jumping off. So if
Okay,
there was,
perfect. Yep. Okay. Yep. Thank you for, I think the getting kicked in my internet earlier kind of threw me off there. So I'll kind of skip over right here to my contact info. If anything came up, you have any questions, please reach out to me via email. If you would like a free trial to our curriculum, our leadership and finance curriculum, happy to set that up for you as well. But just basically, I know that we kind of had this short time, but if anything comes to mind later, or you really want a clarification on anything, I love to talk about this with people. So please reach out. I most definitely will get back with you, and I'll share any resources that you may need as well.
okay. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. I wish
Yeah.
I'd had this information when I was raising my children. We really appreciate your time and sharing of your expertise. And to everyone here, thank you for joining us. Our parenting strategy series will continue on Wednesday, March 16th, when a sleep expert will join us. Meanwhile, if you do have any questions about early childhood issues, don't hesitate to use our Ask a Librarian service. We can all help to point you in the right direction. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.